that is at the same time the sign of our ultimate morality and of our total obscenity. There is a deep misunderstanding of the process of meaning. Most images and photographs today reflect the misery and the violence of human condition. But all this affects us less and less, just because it is oversignified. In order for the meaning, for the message to affect us, the image has to exist on its own, to impose its original language. In order for the real to be transferred to our imagination, and our imagination transferred to the real, it must be a counter-transference upon the image, and this counter-transference has to be resolved in terms of psychoanalysis. Today, we see misery and violence becoming a leitmotif of publicity, just by the way of images. Toscani, for example, is reintegrating sex and AIDS, war and death into fashion. And why not? Jubilating ad images are no less obscene than the pessimistic ones. But at one condition: to show the violence of publicity itself, the violence of fashion, the violence of the medium, what actually publishers are not even to try to do. However, fashion and high society are themselves a kind of spectacle of death. The world's misery is quite so visible, quite so transparent in the line in the face of any top model as in the skeletal body of an African boy. The same cruelty is to be perceived everywhere if one only knows how to look at it. This realistic image, however, does not touch at all what really is, but what should not be, death and misery, what should not exist from our moral and humanistic point of view, and at the same time making an aesthetic and commercial, perfectly immoral use and abuse of this misery. Images that actually testify, behind their pretended objectivity, of a deep denial of the real and of an equal denial of the image, assigned to present what does not even want to be represented, assigned to the rape of the real by burglary. Murder of the image, crushed by over-information, over-signification, over-reference. Murder of the secret of the image, drawn by hyper-visibility, by unconditional transparency. In a film in Leaving Las Vegas, we look in a scene at a very charming blonde girl pissing and talking and on, perfectly indifferent to what she is saying and doing. A perfectly useless scenery, but which ostensibly testifies that nothing will escape from the mixture of the fiction and the reality, while that all is assigned to a ready to see, ready to act, ready to enjoy. That is transparency, to force all the real in the orbit of the visual, not even representation, pure visuality. And this is obscene. Obscene is all what is unnecessarily visible, without desire and without effect, all what usurps the so rare and so precious space of appearance. The last violence done to the image, the very final violence, is the technological one. Electronic and computerized synthetic images issued from numerical combination, combined and reworked on the surface of a screen. It is the end of the imagination of the image itself, of its fundamental illusion, because in the synthetic operation, the reference no longer exists, and the real has not even time to take place, as it is immediately produced as virtual reality. No direct capture of the picture anymore, no presence of a real object in an irrevocable moment and face-to-face, which constitutes the magic of the photography, for example, and of the image generally as acting as singular events. Last glimmer of reality in a world devoted to hyper-reality. Nothing left in the synthetic image of this punctual exactitude, of this punctum, as Roland Barthes say, this punctum in time, which is characteristic of the analogous image. While the photo, according to Roland Barthes, testify of an absence, that something really took place but now went away forever, today the photo, the genuine analogous photograph, would rather testify of a presence, of an immediate presence of a subject to the object, what does not happen anymore in the computerizing of images. Ultimate challenge to the synthetic order which is now overwhelming us. The relation of the image to its reference raised already a lot of problems, those of representation, but when the referent is out of the field, and there is actually no representation anymore, when the real object has disappeared into the technical programming of the image, when the image as pure artifact does not reflect anyone or anything, and does not even go through the phase of the negative, can we still speak of an image? Are in fact televisual, numerical and virtual images, are the images at all? Our real world of images will soon cease to exist, and our consumption of images itself will be virtual. If the image, as Plato says, is the confluence of the light emanating from the object and of the light emanating from the eye, then we will soon neither have an object nor an eye, and there's no images anymore. The same problem is for thinking. In the field of artificial intelligence, the thought does not even have time to formulate itself. Maybe the computerization of the image is the perfect mode of the image, and just the same, the computerization of thought, artificial intelligence, would be the achievement of thinking. But just because of this, it is at the same time the total denigration. In the very perfection lies the violence of synthetic images and artificial intelligence. A perfect exorcism of the real as an infant malady of virtuality. And just the same, a perfect exorcism of thought as infant malady of brain engineering. And a perfect exorcism of the image as infant malady of the visuality. That's a bad fate for the image and for thinking and for the real in general. But at the same time, the chance for the genuine photographic image of a pathetic success, as it happens now, of an artificial resurrection, as for an animal species about to disappear. Maybe it is in this symbolic murder of the image an ironical revenge for the murder of the real by the image. The whole dimension of technical, economical and aesthetic values, fashion, market and speculation are drowning the image under the flood. The specificity of the image is that it is in some way a parallel universe, another world, another scene, in two dimensions, not to confuse with our universe in three dimensions, our real universe, a world of representation. This dimensionless makes its magic and its power of illusion. All what reintegrates the image in the third dimension is a potential violence done to